Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Podcast. I want you to be rich. Yes, I want abundant financial success for your business. But I don't just care about your business making money. I care about you too. I want you to be rich in happiness, in the impact you make, in your relationships, and in how you give back. I'm Anna. I built my six-figure business as a side hustle while I was pregnant with my daughter in 2016. Now I've helped dozens of women do the same. I'm here to help you build a profitable, heart-centered, fully booked business with the latest tips on sales and visibility, with proven mindset hacks, and sneak peeks behind the scenes with what's working right now in the online space and in my business. Ready to make more money with heart? Let's go. Are you working on signing your very first client, or maybe your first few clients after a pause in your business, or maybe your first client at a brand new brave price point, maybe your first client in a new niche, a new target audience, maybe your first client in a new revenue stream like a group program, maybe your first client in a new business. I am so excited to bring you today's episode. I don't think I've ever done an episode like this before, but it's basically just a recording of a Q&A I did with real women that are working on signing their first client. Some of them are new business owners, experienced business owners, but just this era of feeling like there's something new and fresh that takes some risk and vulnerability, and almost like leaving something good in your life or business for something better, and working on fresh income in a new revenue stream. So I'm so excited to talk about just back to the basics of signing clients that I feel like we way overcomplicate. And I hope someone asks a question on this call that resonates with you and you're like, oh my goodness, that was my question too. That's one of my favorite things about group programs is even when you're in a bad mood, you can just come to a call and someone else undoubtedly will ask your question and that will get answered. And that is so useful because then it's solving exactly your stuck point. I'm a big fan of you don't need a lot of information, but you do need just the right info to get you to taking brave action, right? My dear daughter is home with me, sick. I am fighting like a light something or other. Anyone else? But I am feeling excited for the fall. If you're listening to this in real time, it is basically almost September. And I am thinking about you as you conquer September, October, November, right? Obviously December too, but that can be a little bit busy with family stuff. So in these final quote 3 months of the year, I just want to remind you that it's not too late for you to meet your biggest, bravest income goals. I love doing a live round of Getting Coached for these 3 months. That way, at a super affordable price point, I can offer you live coaching support where I'm real-time supporting you on Zoom calls, in the Slack, in the private worksheet reviews. I'm looking at your Google Docs. So if you're looking for coaching support, now is a great time to do it. And I'm happy to answer any questions on what coaching looks like with me and Getting Coached. Feel free to message me, but also just this reminder that these 90 days are so essential in your business. So it's safe for you to set a beautiful client signing goal, get support around that, and show up online and crush your income goals this fall. Okay, also just one more reminder of the theme that's been coming up with a lot of my clients this week is just this reminder that it's okay to look silly as you take risks and hit your really big goals. I don't know about you, but I have some really ambitious goals this fall. And that means trying some new things. That means putting myself outside of my comfort zone. That means doing things that might stick and some things that might not stick. And that's okay. I think when we've been in business for a while, it becomes a little bit harder because we feel like people are watching us or whatever. But just this reminder to leave your ego at the door, and it's worth it to lay it all on the table for your goals, for your ambitions. What's driving you this fall? Is it having more income to buy a home, to renovate your front yard, to spend more time with your kids, to have more flexibility, to invest more in your retirement? What is it that's driving you? And are you willing to look silly for your goals? For me, I don't know about you, but I'm willing to do anything for my kids, anything for my friends. And so it's a reminder that it's okay for you to put that level of commitment and energy on you. Maybe this is an era of you, a fall of putting you first, doing your financial self-care, doing all the body self-care so that you can accomplish what you want to. And that starts with cash flow. So tune into today's Q&A. I'm going to play it now. I hope it's so useful for you. And I would love to hear from you after if there's anything that stands out for you. If you have any follow-up questions for me, let me know because I love making podcast content that's super relevant for you. And I would just love to hear it. Okay, good luck. Kamina wrote,
How would you need me to show up? Okay, so she was really inspired. I have a lot of podcasts around results that women have gotten in the Get and Coach program. So I think she's referring to those case studies. I would want to get that result that you can rave about too. How would you need me to show up to get this type of result in your program? What do you notice your most successful clients do to get the most juice out of a program to get the most concrete results? I love this question, and it's so empowered to be like, okay, what do I do as my half of the client, as the client, which I really like. But I also think sometimes our coaching space is getting a little bit enabled in that we're not holding the course creators and the coaches to a high expectation. Like, I think we settle for programs that don't have great customer support and stuff like that. So I just make sure, like, first of all, picking a program where you know that the coach is going to care about you and show up for you and not be afraid to be the messy client. So often I have to tell my clients, ask a question, ask the question again, look silly, post two questions for me. And like, people feel like they have to be good girls in the program or not be a problem student, which I appreciate. Like, I appreciate that the problem my clients have is that they want to be respectful of my boundaries and they don't. But I think it goes to the side of like not taking up space. And I think that mirrors your experience in the big online space. And so in my program, what I would love you to do is like be the messy problem client. I'm making a joke, right? But really, like, when you're a coach, obviously you want to be professional and have your shit together, right? But when you're a client, like being able to say, like, can you repeat that? I don't understand that. Can you ask that again? Anna, I know that you put this on the worksheet and you gave me that feedback, but I don't know if I agree with you. This is what I'm thinking. Like, just really allowing yourself to be you and to be messy and to be seen and supported. And because that's what's going to get you the results faster instead of like, oh, I asked that question last week, but I'm struggling with this again. I don't want to ask the same question twice because I don't want to bug right? Whatever, right? I think that's a huge thing. Another thing I think my most successful clients do is they really accept failure really easily, right? And what I say is like, maybe they did a social post, they put it out there and they got no likes or comments, but they're like, okay, Anna, I did this. How do I make it work better next time? Instead of, I posted on social media, nobody liked me and I'm going to shut down my coaching business, right? Just really this attitude of like, I'm going to be successful no matter what. And any sort of failure I receive along the way is data. And I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad coach. I'm just figuring out marketing and I'm going to make mistakes and I'm going to look messy and I'm going to do things that aren't going to get results, but it doesn't say anything about who I am as a person or coach. It just says that I'm maybe inexperienced with marketing and I'm still trying to figure out marketing, right? Another thing is I would say my most successful clients do their homework every week or let me know where they're stuck on the homework assignment, right? So in Get and Coach, there's like a little 10-minute exercise every week. So either doing the exercise or saying, hey, Anna, I didn't do the exercise and here's the reason why, right? Because it triggered me or because I was so busy. Can you help me find time in my schedule so that I can prioritize this, right? So either doing the thing or having same thing as failure, right? Having the data so we can figure it out. And then the final thing I'll say is really making sure that you are taking my feedback as a coach because I've coached so many women. So I kind of know what works and what doesn't work, but that you're never neglecting your intuition and knowing that I will always honor that at the end of the day, right? If you say like, I know you're teaching this, but I really want to do this and like because at the end of the day, it's your business. So those are my biggest tips there. Okay. One more quick one, and then we'll go to the other ones. Carrie says, question about getting over the fear of being visible in posting and then the minimum tools for coaching and doing webinars. Okay. So as far as like the fear of visibility, I just think it's super personal. And so I have a worksheet on this, but you could basically do it. It's called 3 visibility blocks. And it's just asking yourself, what are the 3 biggest things holding me back right now from getting visible? In fact, everyone in the chat box, just top of mind, what are the 3 biggest fears or blocks, practical or impractical, keeping you from getting visible right now? Maybe it's the fact that you don't like your haircut. Maybe it's the fact that you're afraid your sister-in-law will judge you online. Maybe it's the fact that you're not clear in your messaging. Maybe it's the fact that like, if you do get visible and you sign clients, you're nervous they'll be upset with whatever, right? But I would say it's so key for you and I to know what your biggest blocks are so that we can address them. Some of them are going to be practical and we need a little strategy. Some of them are just mindset and fear-based, right? And maybe we need to do a mindset exercise. But I think like We can't lump them all in one basket, and we won't know whether it needs a mindset fix or a strategy fix until you know what it is. And so I would say just getting super clear and honest with yourself on, I know it sounds silly, but actually this is why I'm not getting visible. And again, not judging yourself there. Minimum tools for a webinar are what you listed here, Carrie, which is Zoom. Really, that's it for a webinar. I mean, bonus points for having an email service provider, bonus points for having a calendaring thing so people can book a discovery call with you, but you can do a lot in your business with just Zoom. You can do so much. Okay, let me get to your beautiful question. Okay. Lisa, I love you said that you're just here for the good vibes. You know this is the place to get them. Okay. Kaylee says, how do we streamline our message? I feel so stuck. Okay, so I actually think people are like, oh, it's your one liner. It's so easy. I think it's the hardest thing in your business because it's actually a mini business plan. Think about it. When you get clear on your message, you're having to get clear on your title, right? You're having to get clear on who you serve. You're having to get clear on what result you want to get that client. Just because you know who you want to serve doesn't mean you're clear on that result, right? Literally, it's a lot of little tiny decisions, and that's why it's overwhelming. I have a messaging worksheet I can share here in the chat box, but it's basically like 6 little business decisions you need to make to get clear on your message. And it sucks. And like, there's no way around it, but it's like, it's grief. Like as you decide your message, your marketing message, you're having to let go of the potential of other marketing messages, right? And if you're a multi-passionate woman, that can suck. But what really helped me in my marketing was realizing that my marketing message didn't have to define me or have to stay the same forever. It was just like for the next 90 days, how do I want to get visible to attract clients? But knowing on the back, it's just the marketing on-ramp. It doesn't actually reflect who you are on the back end. If someone comes to you and wants help and you can help them, like, why not, right? But just asking yourself, what narrow marketing on-ramp do I want to show up with in my content so that I can attract people in the first place? And so making those 6 decisions, and then after those decisions are made, putting it into a sexy little sentence or something. I'm a big fan of doing a short version of it and then a long version of it, but those 6 decisions first. And then after you decide those 6 things, the actual statement is pretty simple. Okay. Kamina says, as I'm writing, I feel so free. I love that word. Okay. Bree, I don't think that was a question. Or was that a question, the lacking belief? Or was that a reflection?
Yeah, I guess just how to increase belief.
Okay, great. It was the question. Lacking belief that I can actually have a fully booked online coaching practice and bring the money home. Yes. So what comes up for me here is like, and other people can put in input too, but if there's something in my life that I haven't yet experienced, like I can say what it is for me, I have lots of evidence that I can make money online. Something that I haven't had evidence yet in my life that I'm self-coaching around and getting therapy around is having a supportive partner, right? So many of you guys know my story. I was in not the best marriage for 10 years. So I have not yet experienced a super supportive partnership in marriage, right? I believe it's possible for me, but to be honest, there's some days where I'm like, no, I don't believe it's possible because I haven't experienced it yet. That's where faith comes in. That's where belief comes in, that gap of, so I think it's just not making yourself wrong. And for me, I don't have to have full belief to take action towards something, right? For me, I was pretty sure I could make money online, but I was like 80% sure, but it was like a big guess because I didn't really know anyone else who was doing it. It seemed a little bit sketchy, right? So I would just say, like, asking yourself what percentage, everyone can answer this, on a percentage of 0% to 100%, how sure are you that you can make whatever is your income goal online? For me, it was $76,000, right? And I was like, I think I'm 70% sure I can do it. Okay, so I'm going to take action and go all in on it, right? So tell me what percent you feel like you're at on believing that you can, whatever it is, make $200,000 in three days a week or whatever that is. And then asking yourself, what percent do I need to be to take tons of action around it? And so for me, if I can get myself to 70% belief, that's enough for me. If you're at 50% belief, then I would do a little bit of mindset work. Something I like to do is look for expanders or evidence of other women in my life that have that thing I want. And then I can be like, she can get it, I can get it, right? That's why at the beginning of my coaching practice, I obsessed over hearing women's stories of how they signed their first clients. And I just really love to hear those stories, like that, just building the evidence. So I would say, like, thinking about what percentage you need to be to take a ton of action. And then if you're not there yet, asking yourself what you need to do to get there. And then if you are there, being like, that's enough. I'm not really going to believe it till I see it. Right. And so I'm just going to take this action to bring this thing into my reality and do the right thing until I get there. Okay. Georgette says, my question is how to come back to being visible after a couple years of not posting. Okay. This is a great question. And I think can be challenging when we feel like, oh, like I was there, now I have to do this thing again. And anytime I get to this place, whether it's in my motherhood or whatever, I just try to tell myself, like, Anna, how can I just drop my ego and be a beginner again? Knowing that it's going to be a little easier because I've already done it. But how do I just take that beginner's mindset and not care about how I look and not care about what people think about me, and just really take this view of like, okay, I learned what I need to in this last era, but this is a fresh chapter. What do I need to release from that last chapter? Is it self-forgiveness? Is there someone that hurt me in that season that I need to forgive and do some forgiveness work around? Maybe it was a bad client situation or a bad coach situation or whatever it was, right? So really asking yourself, like, everyone can tell me in the chat box, is there something from this last chapter that you need to do some forgiveness work around? My favorite forgiveness work is to just write a letter to that person that I don't send. Usually I put it in the freezer or burn it because I like doing tactile things. But really making sure you finish any unfinished business from that chapter and then allow yourself to start fresh, right? And not tell yourself any stories. I think sometimes when we have a successful business or have had, it can be even more pressure instead of just being like, I'm starting again. And I don't care. I don't care what people think about me, whether you're going from a successful career to a baby coaching business, whether you're going from a successful income stream in your business to a nut, like that's going to happen forever as an entrepreneur. We're always doing something new. We're always doing a new income stream or a new project, and realizing that at the start of that, there's going to be the same startup things, which is like micro failures and looking messy and it not being perfect or beautiful at the start, right? Okay. So good. Yes. Taking up space as it's so funny because that's what I mostly have to do to my clients, is tell them to be like needier clients, right? Showing up, taking up space. Okay. What is enough marketing in the US to get enough clients? Okay. Everyone tell me in the chat box, what does enough clients mean to you, right? I think it's super good to get clear on how many clients do I want right now? So right now it's August. So asking yourself for August, September, October, for the next 3 months, how many clients do I want? Right? Write that in the chat box. And that number is going to be different for everyone. That might be 3 clients. That's okay. I've had people come in to get in coach and being like, Anna, I just want 3 paying clients. I've had people come in and be like, I want 25 paying clients. And I've actually helped people do both. But the truth is, you're not going to meet your goal if you lie to yourself about how many clients you want, right? If you underestimate it, right, you're not going to be very excited because you're going to be like, well, you have to be honest with yourself and not look around the room at anyone else's number, and just trust your number for this chapter. What does that look like for you? I want this many clients. And then from there, we can back up and figure out how much marketing it'll take you to get there, right? In general, with organic marketing, the nice thing is organic marketing converts at a higher rate than paid marketing does often, right? But the nice thing, there's pros and cons to both. I would say in general, like for the launch strategy I teach and get and coach, if you want like 5 paying clients, I suggest basically getting 30 leads. And a lot of my clients convert better than that, but I think it's better to err on the side of like just showing up to a lot of people because you get a little less attached to the outcome, right? If you're like, I want 3 paying clients and I'm going to book 3 discovery calls, then on those discovery calls, you're like, this better convert, and we just know that energy doesn't work, right? Versus like, I'm going to show up, I'm going to connect with 30 women, I'm going to give value, and I'm going to trust that 5 of them, or probably more, are going to convert right now, and then more are going to convert down the line, but I don't care which of the 30 convert. And I don't care when they convert, right? So I always err on the side of doing more marketing and more visibility and more connection points because it just allows women to, there's different types of marketing, but my favorite type is the type where we let our clients like have a little more autonomy. It takes a little longer for them to sign sometimes, but you just have really happy clients on the back end. And I think you make more money in the long run because less people ask for refunds, less people are all the things, right? So I err on the side of more marketing, more visibility, because then you can actually afford to have less of a sales closing rate, which actually makes your sales closing rate bigger because then people notice that you're not attached, and that's attractive. It's so attractive. Okay, I don't know if that was an annoying answer or not. Okay, what are the most effective marketing strategies these days? My Instagram and YouTube posts are not yielding the results I want. Okay, I love this. And this is great because if any of you guys already are visible online, and if you end up doing Get and Coach, it's really useful for me to see the data. I love data. I love steering a moving ship. So this is your nudge if you are going to do Get and Coach to start getting visible now so that by the time the program starts, we do have some data. Like, don't wait for me to tell you what to do, because if you come in and you're like, I posted 5 Instagram reels and they all bombed, I love that because then I can look at those reels and help you figure out why, right? Okay, so what I would say is looking at your Instagram and YouTube, and I can give some general things, but really being a detective, pretending like it's almost not your business, pretending like you're going in and consulting for someone else and be like, why isn't this performing, right? When things have performed, what has performed well? I would say online right now, the online marketing space is changing so fast. What used to work years ago was like repurposing the hell out of everything. What's working right now is not repurposing, but picking like one platform and really creating content less better for that one platform. And then also shorter form and video. Like where we're at is just the 1-minute video. If you look at Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, like, I'm sorry, ladies, it's just where we're going. But I also think it's good news for Heart Center coaches, because when you do a 1-minute little video, like people can pick up your vibe really fast. Like all of you, when you spoke and did your intros, right away, I was like, it's a good woman, right? Like it's easy to tell. Same thing when someone sees you on an Instagram reel, they see you on 30 seconds and you don't have to do a dancing video. It could just be like a 30-second tip. Someone sees you for 30 seconds telling them to do some deep breathing. They're like, I really like her. Like, oh, I'm going to stop she's really cool. So I think this is good news for us in online marketing, but definitely short form video, I feel like is something that's performing super well. Okay. Mina says, have you had any clients who cannot make it to the calls? Absolutely. Yes. So for Get and Coach, we do have Zoom calls. However, I have had women, because of their international or work schedules, just watch the call replays. And then also, I love a Slack channel. We have Q&A every Wednesday in Slack. So that means just like I'm doing now, you post for me your questions, you post for me where you're stuck, you post for me a link with your website copy, whatever you need my eyeballs on. And I do e-coaching once a week that way. And then in addition, every Thursday, you submit your 10-minute worksheet and I give you feedback on that personally. Yes, the coaching calls are super important, but I think even more important is that every single Thursday for 12 weeks, it's like this little homework deadline for your CEO work that otherwise wouldn't be prioritized because you have everything else going on in your life. But if you can force yourself to prioritize kicking along and growing your coaching business every single week, anytime before Thursday, the bonus is if you do the worksheet by Thursday, you get it reviewed by me. And so that I think is the number one thing, is that you're doing the little step every week. You're doing your little worksheet, or again, telling me, Anna, I didn't do the worksheet because I got stuck on this thing or something. Okay. My message converting, my one-on-one program to a coaching program, trusting myself. Okay, let me hit these ones. So getting your message to convert, I would say in the 6 little areas of your messaging statement, when I was talking about those decisions, the one that's going to make it convert the most is the outcome you're promising your clients, right? Super annoying, but really asking yourself, yes, I do podcast management, but what is that helping them to accomplish? AKA, get more clients, get their voice out to make an impact. Like maybe even picking 5 potential outcomes and then figuring out which is the sexiest, right? Even though you're like, I help them with all 5 of these outcomes. And actually, the one I'm most passionate about is this one. But what are they the most passionate about coming in? Because that's what's going to get them to buy. And then once they buy, I'm actually going to help them with all 5 of these things because I know it's good for them. But I'm not going to expect my potential client coming in to have the knowledge of someone, of me, or that's worked with me for 12 weeks. It's safe for me to market to my clients, not in a way that's deceptive, but in a way that's sexy, in a way that's speaking the language that they're needing, in a way that's itching the scratch that they're asking for, knowing that on the back end, and I actually mention all 5 things in my marketing, but I try to mostly emphasize that thing that feels like an emergency in their brain, right? The thing that they're going to spend money on. Okay, one-on-one coaching to a coaching program. So the good news about this is as you deliver your one-on-one program, I think it's the best way to deliver or create your group coaching program. So the first thing I recommend is as you coach one-on-one clients, starting to create resources for your one-on-one clients. That's how all my programs were developed and why I think my clients get such great results in them is because I didn't make any of my programs in a silo, right? I was working with real clients and I asked myself, what am I repeating? What worksheets can I create to help my current clients get better results based on where they are getting stuck? So starting to create worksheets for your one-on-one clients. If you notice yourself repeating something, record a 5-minute video, record a 5-minute audio, starting to create that treasure trove of resources for your one-on-one clients. And then you can organize those and supplement into a thingy. Yes, Angie says fear of being judged, not supported by family. I love that you guys wrote all these blocks. So the visibility block worksheet 2 is basically just when you have those blocks, writing to the right of those blocks, one action you can take for each of those blocks. Obviously, that's something I can coach you around, but it's something you can self-coach on too, which is asking yourself, okay, there is this block. I don't know how to do Facebook ads. What's one action you could take for that? I could figure out if I even need to do them right now. If I do, I could take a little training on it. I could watch a YouTube video, right? Okay. Oh, shoot. I know I was, hopefully, did I get to all your questions? I think these are just reflections now, right? Wave at me if you put a question in the chat box and I didn't answer it. Okay, Angie and Kamina. Anyone else? Okay. Angie, tell me your question, love. Or Kamina. Kamina, tell me your question.
Hey Anna, I want to build my business really quickly and I'm a minimalist and I want it to be really lean and simple. So I was wondering if you could go back to where I am now for your first year, what's like the one really important area of focus or just like one thing you totally wouldn't do in order to just grow really quickly and with that feeling of like easiness?
I first of all, you're speaking my love language with like the simple and minimal, right? Because I think that's always been important in growing a business, but I think like now more than ever, I just think it's so important just because our world and our online space is so noisy. So what I feel like I did right is hiring a coach almost from day one, because before that, I was like listening to a lot of podcasts and downloading I would have like freebie hangover where I would wake up in the morning and my Gmail would have a ton of freebies. And I'm like, who's been signing me up for all these freebies? And it was like me the night before at like 11 p.m. like, right. And it was just starting to get information overload. And so I really unsubscribed from everyone except for the coach I hired. But even before that, I would just say like, because most people's strategies work, but usually not all of them at the same time. So I would say like just pick 1 or 2 thought leaders that you really love. And if you can for like 90 days, unfollowing the other ones, or just really monitoring how much you're taking in so you have enough energy to create, right? Like we need energy and white space and blank space to think and create. And so we just need to really limit what we consume. And ideally it's from like 1 or 2 sources. And so that's what I feel like I did right, is really like limiting the input sources. What I wish I would have done different is what I said, which is like doing more creative output sooner, like just starting to show up on video even before I knew my niche. Like I felt like I needed to get clear on I had to get it perfect before I could show up, instead of realizing that that messy action is what would give me the clarity, which is just so annoying. But I wish I would have just started like making social media posts, recording more videos, coaching people for free, even before I knew right? Like just getting a little messier faster are the things that came up for me. Ugh, it's just such perfectionism, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to do Angie's. And if anyone has a second question who's here, feel free to type it in the question too, chat box. Okay, Angie's is, what practices do you have or recommend for building self-trust? I love this. I've been on a personal health journey for a while and have come a long way, but I feel like one of my biggest blocks is the fear I am not following through on what I will promise myself. What comes up for me is like, what I tell my clients all the time is you don't owe the free internet anything, right? Like I appreciate that heart center coaches are like, I want to be in integrity. I want to walk my own talk. I want to like, yes, but what you're doing with your life and your business is just between you and yourself and or your coach and or your therapist. It's really no one else. And I think we feel like because we share our life online, like we know owe the internet anything, but we're imperfect people and we're going to have up and downs. It's going to be normal, right? Like, and so we don't need to use that as a way to bully ourselves into having perfect lives. Like we're on our own process and then we're taking clients on their process. So like, yes, to building self-trust, but also like not feeling like we owe that to anyone, taking out that pressure there. And then I would say like to build self-trust, just make sure you're making your goals and actions small. Like I think sometimes if we set a goal, like I will post on social media every day. And then if we don't meet that goal, we're like, now I need to double down and make it harder. Instead of like, well, I've got a lot going on, so maybe I need to make it easier. Like, what if I just show up on social media once a week? Like, if you do one good reel on social media once a week, that's great, right? And so I would say making sure you're making your steps small enough, because then, like you said, you start to build self-trust and see that momentum. And then it's easy for you to turn up the volume, right? Instead of what I think we do sometimes is do this like black and white thing of like, going at it 1,000% or completely unplugging because we're burned out, right? Instead of like doing like a smaller trickle, making it more doable is what comes up for me. Okay, second questions before we do a wrap up. Okay, with a big group of friends and with friends, we sometimes do this, give each other compliments. We do this anonymously online so people don't have any blocks and there's a huge amount of positive and unique feedback. That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Okay, no more questions. Okay, thank you guys. Crushed it. Let's do takeaways and action steps. So at the end of every coaching call, I love to ask you, what was your biggest takeaway from the call today? What stood out to you? Type that in the chat box. And then also, what's an action step that you want to take? Something that you want to do. Maybe it's posting that post you wrote. Tell me your action steps and takeaways in the chat box. Yes, thank you for reminding me. And while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up the messaging worksheet. Okay, I'm going to share this worksheet, but you have to promise me that when you do it, you just set a timer for 15 minutes and you do your best guess with these 5 or 6 decisions. And if there's one you get stuck on, you just put a star next to it, right? So often when we're doing an assignment, if we get stuck on one part, we spiral around the whole thing instead of like, actually, I did great. I filled out 80% and there's one part I don't know, right? So that's really useful if you are able to do it. 15-minute timer, do your best at getting through it, figuring out the one section of your message that you're stuck on, and then you'll know, okay, separately, I need to get clarity on this one thing, right? But not spinning out. And then also remembering this is just your marketing message for the next 90 days. It doesn't have to be forever. I got so stuck on my message because I was like, I need to pick the one perfect message that I'm going to keep till I'm 80 years old. Like I was convinced it's because I was trying to be efficient and didn't want to waste time. But the truth is I wasted a lot of time trying to save time, right? Okay, here's the worksheet. So click File, make a copy, set a 15-minute timer, and just ask yourself for the next 90 days, what do I want my marketing to look like? Fortunately or unfortunately, our marketing always changes. Number one, because we change. Number two, because the online space changes, right? How we show up in marketing changes every 5 years or so. That's not bad, right? But just giving yourself permission to be like, how do I want to make money right now? How do I want to attract clients right now? What clients do I want to serve right now? That might be the same in 5 years, and it might not be. That's okay. I'm just making these decisions based on right now. Okay. It's so true. Yeah, shoot bigger, do a lot of connections. And I think sometimes we think like it feels overwhelming to connect with a lot of people because we're like, oh, that's going to take a lot more work. But actually showing up and getting visible and connecting with 30 women isn't that much harder than connecting with 10 women. I think we can be like control freaks sometimes, or at least myself, but really you showing up and recording one video, it reaching 30 women versus 10, like it's kind of the same. All that's going to change is really your goal around it, if that makes sense. You're not alone. You're going to make that prompted video. So that's a great idea too. That is to make your written post a little video if you want to record that on your phone. I love recording reels, not on Instagram. It's just a little overwhelming for me. I just love recording it on my camera, on my phone, and then uploading it later. Yeah, you don't have a social account yet. No problem. You can always post it on your personal Facebook wall. She's like, never. Okay, so good. All right, this replay will be posted to you, ladies. I'll make sure that gets uploaded, and make sure you check your email tomorrow. Hopefully some of you will be joining me in Getting Coach, and hope you have a beautiful Monday. Bye, sweet ladies. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, you made it to the end of the Q&A. I hope that was so useful for you. I had so much fun doing that. There is nothing I love more than coaching. And that was a little bit more like hot seat Q&A, maybe than coaching. But I just so enjoy helping women wherever they're stuck. So this is your reminder. If there's something in your life or business you're stuck on, don't stay stuck on it. Reach out to a friend, get help, message it to me. Maybe I could do a podcast episode about it, right? But this is your permission to don't get stuck. There are people that are out there that want to help you, myself included, and know whether it's in a official capacity. I would love to invite you to work with me for 3 months and Getting Coach, my life support container for coaches of all niches, health coaches, life coaches, fertility coaches, you name it. But also know that even if you don't join that program, I am here rooting for you, cheering for you, in your corner, and so grateful that you're in the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur community. I do not take that for granted, and I'm just so happy to have you here.
Thanks for hanging out today. Please hit that subscribe button so you can make sure to stay updated anytime a new episode drops. And I would love for you to join me in my free Facebook community. It's called the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur. We discuss the podcast episodes. I regularly go live and do free trainings. And you may even meet your newest biz bestie. So you can join at heartcenteredcommunity.com. It's absolutely free, and I cannot wait to see you in there.